If we are serious about misinformation and disinformation, then just look at the COVID period. Every politician who argued in favour of lockdowns, compulsory vaccinations, keeping kids out of school, they should be in the dock. Let me be blunt. Every bit of censorship starts with the same arrogant belief that individuals can't be trusted to make up their own minds, that we need to be mollycoddled and protected from ideas, that we should be censored by enlightened fact-checkers at government departments and big tech. Now, I'd like to finish today with a special smoking ceremony. I call up Mr. John Ruddick. What I have here is a copy of the bill. Now, a copy of the bill. And we're going to smoke it. We're going to set fire to it. And we're going to send a message that a bill like this has no place in Australian history ever again. And then, when the ashes are done, we're going to spread the ashes around this sacred place of Speaker's Corner. John, please do the honours.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm back from the protest today. It was a protest against the Misinformation and Disinformation bill that was pushed through the Parliament, and it's not quite there yet. But, you know, you can write into the Senate, to the Senate committee, you know, and you can give your feedback at the moment, which I've done. And I think, you know, they were pushing that today at the protest a lot, that people should do it. But the problem is, you know, most people don't, and they have this automated, a lot of them said they have an automated system where you can just do that. And I kind of think that dilutes the value of the real submission. So anyway, I wrote quite a long submission, but you know, if it's just, you know, you push a button, it's like they go on and say, oh, it takes, you know, it takes less than 15 seconds, you just push a button and it puts a submission in. Well, that's, to me, that's kind of not really much, but anyway, they're doing something at least. George Christensen, who I have a lot of respect for, he was, I remember watching him back in the day, and he was just heckled and laughed at and booed and hissed in the Parliament for speaking the truth, you know, about the shit that was going on back in 2020. But the whole day was a bit of like I wrote on my on the Sydney protest, it was a bit of a kerfuffle, as I like to say, because, you know, there was two different groups. That Craig Kelly had organised the group through the Libertarians, and, you know, I don't know, Craig Kelly, he was he was UAP, then he's One Nation, and now he's a Libertarian, I think. And there was another group that was organised by Aussie Cossack, who had come and kind of latched onto it, and Joel Jammal put it up. He said it pretty clearly in his speech that it's like, that's what went wrong in Melbourne. There was 9 different freedom groups, all pulling in different directions. Everyone's going in different ways, and that's why the whole, you know, the freedom movement, unfortunately, because they're not cohesive, it ends up being a bit of a schmozzle. Anyway, but the whole day, it was interesting. I got there at just before 10, and they were going to have a march from Town Hall to go there, which was organised by the Cossack crew. And at the same time, I saw on Cossack's Telegram channel that you know, the cops had come to tell him, not him because he's in he's in lockdown in the Russian embassy, but to tell his people that, you know, they had to go, and it was, you know, they weren't allowed to be there in the Royal Botanic Gardens, which is, you know, I don't know why that came up, but it's the Domain, and then these, you know, the rangers are there, but people are speaking back to them, and in the end, you know, the cop, what's his name, the big fella, he got on the phone to Cossack, and then he went over and spoke to Craig Kelly, and in the end, they came to an agreement that they would, you know, each share. So they had a stage for the Cossacks people, and they had a stage for Craig Kelly's people, and the Libertarians. and yeah, very interesting speeches today. There's a number, like, it's all on Sydney Protest, you can check it all out. There was a number that I really enjoyed listening to. There was, they were mainly the non-politicians. I know, politicians. That's the problem too. It was like a pro-politician. I won't say that pro-politician rally, but an anti-politician rally. So the people on Cossack side are all very much, common law, and just they don't agree with what the politicians, and this guy, what's his name, Commie John, he was running that, and then Craig Kelly was running his thing, and they were each kind of getting at each other a little bit, but in the end it was a good day, and a lot of speeches. So there's like quite a lot of people spoke, and I kind of appreciate that Cossack was there in the end, because it wasn't just not Cossack himself, but his group, because he had an open mic. So people got up and spoke, and then Aysha, who is from the Spotlight fame, she got up and spoke. There was a very interesting young man who got up and spoke, and he's the only one who kind of mentioned immigration as an issue, and he was quite interesting, very interesting guy. And then on the yellow team, as Commie John kept calling them, they had a bloke from Iran, and he had never spoken before, and he spoke, and whether he hadn't spoken before or not, but I don't, that's what they said, and he spoke very well and very fluently, and they pretty much say, and then on the Cossack side, they had this young Chinese man, I should say, and he had a mask on, and people, my opinion is he's probably in fear of the CCP getting him, but he wouldn't take it off. They told him to take it off, and he said no, and in the end, people don't appreciate. There's one guy there out of whatever, how many hundreds and hundreds of people are there, got a mask on, and he's up on stage speaking, and they kept kind of ridiculing him a bit, and then took it off in the end, which was quite a brave act, and he spoke well too. And it's like, it's odd that as an Australian, we've always had freedom of speech, and now the government wants to shut it down, and you've got a communist Chinese guy, an Iranian guy, and a Russian group that are all saying, no, this is what we have had. And other Eastern European, another Eastern European lady who was Russian based, but she was on the yellow side, and she said the same thing. She runs the Good Nights group that meets in Double Bay each week or each month, and they all said the same thing. It's like, we've come from these communist countries where you don't have freedom of speech, and then you guys are just going forward into it. You're just accepting it, that you want to go towards this place of communism and no free speech. But why? That's why they have come to Australia, for the freedoms that we enjoy. Why do they want to go? Why would they, in particular, who have suffered through these communist regimes, why would they want to go back to that in this new country they've come to? And it's a very interesting day, a really interesting day. What else? I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot. I'll put up all my on Sydney Protest. I put up all the footage I took from today, and there's interesting stuff of what happened in the background on Cossack's channel. So that's it.
Work together as opposed to, no, this is how
I want to make sure we do it well. So people don't get hurt.
you have a bloody good idea from him.
We don't have too many cops today, that's all. So we'll do our best.
So that's the problem. That's why we hate you guys, because you've got to have understanding like he does, not like you. This is the plan. Working with him. That makes a lot of sense, not your attitude. Get out of the way, mate. You're an idiot, mate. You need to have an attitude like this guy here. Let's work together. And not have that mentality. Yeah, all right, good. That's much better. That's how you should approach it. Well, let's work together. Why don't you start that from the beginning? Why don't you have that shit attitude? No, you said this is the plan. Yeah, that's what you said. We've been discussing. So you started off already. You started off already. You're an idiot. You've got to work together. So get out of the way. What idiot? That's the whole attitude. That's why this whole place sucks. People like you. Yeah.
Back Street?
You'll go when we're ready to go, yeah? You don't get to dictate.
Please cooperate, guys.
Well, it's a free country, mate. Yes, it is.
I like that. It's a free country, mate. No, it's not. Yeah, this is the misinformation disinformation rally. I just got here and they're trying to kick it off early because there's some issue with the police and closing the roads, etc., etc. But so there's a little bit of a kerfuffle going on, but it'll start off. I'm pretty sure it'll start off now.
Don't put your hand up. Put your hand up. What's that mean? You weren't here when he opened his mouth.
I think they're just waiting. The cops are waiting. There's not many cops, and they're just waiting to block the roads. They're blocking off the roads here, so they can kick it off. So hopefully, once the tram's gone, I think it's going to go. All right. All right, we're off.
No, guys, this way, this way.
So I want to put the mic to you guys, and you can say whatever you want. You can say why you're here.
Study Bitcoin before they steal your purchasing power.
Fantastic.
Viva Russia! Good afternoon, good morning, people. We are so sick and tired of the Socialist Labor Party. These people are liars, these people are deceivers. The people need to wake up. This country's, taken over by socialists. It's time to end the socialist regime. Labor Party is nothing but a bunch of socialists. Be careful of socialism. They're nothing but clowns. Don't listen to them, people today. YouTube, there's already enough censorship on YouTube and Facebook as it is, and we do not need more censorship.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anything you want to say?
Well,
people.
Keep walking
I'm
up.
here for freedom of speech, obviously, like Julian Assange showed us the lies that were being told to us. And now we're being told that the government can tell these lies, and the mainstream media can tell these lies. And if we say that's a lie, we get put in jail. What's that sound like?
Nearly sprung.
How totalitarianism works. Okay, they control the laws that control freedom of speech. Then they come for the journalists. After they got the journalists, we don't know what the fuck happens. It's all over. It's all over. We're getting very close to that point. So we have to stand up and say, no, thank you, Albo. No, thank you. We won't have your misinformation and disinformation.
Into the park at 45 degrees and out the other side on into Art Gallery Road, straight down to the other assembly. Okay. Thanks, John. fair few, yeah. There's a lot of people that love to see it.
What do you guys want to say? Get on the mic, have your all freedom of speech while you still have it.
I'm actually from the UK and I've seen this tyrannical crap. I can't swear because there's children around, but I've seen this sort of stuff before in the UK, and I'm protesting pretty much on behalf of everybody, regardless of where they stand in the political position, to have their right to say. I probably won't agree with you. In fact, I probably absolutely disagree with what you're saying, but I will fight to the death but to have the word of say. And I don't want this country, this beautiful country that we call Australia, to turn into the tyrannical state that the UK is. I read on Facebook that 400 people got arrested in Russia for posting stuff, whilst there's like 3,000 people getting arrested on social media for posting stuff about criticizing the government, either woke stuff or whatever. And they're getting arrested for that. And I saw this misinformation and disinformation bill as a stepstone to this authoritarian state, this authoritarian government. And I just wanted to stand up and have my say, you know. I just wanted to protest.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. And we'll do the same for you, sir. We'll fight for you.
That's the... Staying there and she was still going on. If you're rolling in the fight. Yes.
Get rid of the belligerent government. They're all criminals, let's get rid of them. They're all in treason and they know it. We don't need them, guys. Just like we don't need their filthy biotoxin. Same shit. Let's get rid of them, people. Let's go. Freedom Union, join it, it's only $200. We've got no choice, really. We
Not that I'm silent to you, buddy, but
I'm too loud?
No, I'm just changing my thing. This thing's all pretty weird.
Let's get rid of this belligerent, unlawful, treasonous government.
I'm going to go around and see if anyone else wants to face me. Thanks so much, sir. Thank you. You guys are marching against misinformation and disinformation. Is there anything you guys want to say? Remember, you can say whatever you want to say while you still can. You want to say a piece? Up to you. Up to you. Would you like to say a piece? Fair enough then. All good.
Israel did 9/11. That's the start.
I mean, if you want to say it on the microphone, that's up to you. So.
Israel did 9/11. Myself. Look it up. Research it.
Don't trust me.
Don't trust mainstream media. Look it up. USS Liberty. Israel again.
You get on the mic. Oh, I've got to get my car. There we go.
Okay.
Try to get on camera. Too many things at the same time.
The
Yeah, the pre-programmed narrative just started pouring out of her. Like,
Whoop, sorry, mate. That was a setup.
No, sorry.
she was like, just went on.
Yeah. Yep. No.
Don't consent.
Sorry.
Yep.
Maybe the government, maybe the government really wants
Alright, so they've arrived at Speaker's Corner now, where there's quite a number of good speakers on today. I'm particularly looking forward to George Christensen speaking, who was, I just remember his video back in the day being heckled.
On this thing, this toxic misinformation bill, we are together. And we're going to share this event. We have one speaker going backwards and forwards from each stage. I hope everyone listens, gives due respect and applauds every speaker and listens to them, because that is what free speech is about, and that's what we're here to celebrate. Thanks, John.
Alright, so it's about a half an hour from kick-off now. Let's have a little walk through. There's Chris Coveries, setting it all up. There's Craig Kelly getting interviewed. So it's mostly the Libertarians are over here. And there was a bit of a kerfuffle in the beginning because the Libertarians had organised this rally at 11:30, and someone else, who I'm not sure of, but I have an idea who it is, but I'm not sure, has organised their own thing. So the Rangers were called and the cops came and it was almost shut down, but it didn't in the end. Here's Topher Field with his Battleground, flogging his Where's Battleground Melbourne and Good People Break Bad Laws books, and DVD. And then, yeah, the numbers are swelling now. A whole bunch more just turned up who must have missed the very rushed off 10 o'clock start, which was virtually at,
5 minutes to 10 because the cops pushed it forward. Yeah, so there's quite a few people. Everyone's a bit relaxed and it's a reasonably nice day. Doesn't look like it's going to rain. There's good numbers and they're swelling and swelling. It's about half an hour till it starts, so this isn't bad for this sort of numbers this much beforehand. Good. And it's good to see, for me, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces and friendly faces around the place. Yeah, walk along and film and wave to people and say hello, which is nice. And yeah, someone's organised all this water. I'm sorry, I'm waffling now, but yeah, there's good numbers anyway. I won't keep chatting. And there's a good range of speakers. I'm not sure who's speaking from this side, but they've come on stage and now said they've made a compromise and said they'll do alternate between here and the original one. But the original one is set up on the speaker's corner stage, and this one is a bit more, well, they got a lot more bits and pieces to it all. And there's random people just walking through because that's the art gallery across the road. So it might, maybe you'll get a few extra people listening in. There's a fellow giving away the Light newspaper, which is a great read if anyone hasn't seen it. They're a bit hard to get, but you can get them. And that's Bruce Shillingsworth Senior over there. And yeah, there we go.
We're going to start very soon. A great crowd already, and there's going to be a lot more people by the time we start at 11:30. We're going to protest and send a big message to Mr. Albanese. We do not want this dis and misinformation bill. We want this bill scrapped.
Here's Danny Lim is here as well, the famous Danny Lim with his smiley, or not so smiley face today. We haven't seen him for a little while. Hey Danny, how are you? Good to see you, brother. What are you here for today?
I was here because who's running this country?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll see how it goes, eh?
Do you know on the 30th I was over that side?
Yeah.
My friend came from Cairns with granddaughter.
I came upon the prison ship, laid down by iron chains. Up the land, endured the lash, and waited for the rains. I was setting my
Big George.
on a dry
Cameron, and I'm a recovering former politician. I wasn't even planning to attend today. I was heading down to Boyd Charlton Pool for a swim and I saw a crowd forming. My hands started to twitch, and as every former recovering politician knows, when you see a crowd forming, there's only one question. There must be a microphone somewhere. So, as your master of ceremonies today, the operative word is master. That is, by happy coincidence, my preferred pronoun. I haven't quite got my teenage daughters into the hang of it yet, but I'm working on it. So yous will all do as you're told. The only rule today is that the Master of Ceremonies may speak on any subject he wishes for as long as he wishes. Scheduled speakers may speak for 3 minutes on the misinformation bill. That's going to be the deal. Indeed, as I read through the terms of the bill, I felt my blood pressure rising sufficiently. There was a real risk
that I would completely lose my equilibrium on the podium and go on a 1 hour, unbroken, unhinged, profanity-laden rant against this stinking pile of excrement described as a misinformation and disinformation bill. So you should be lucky. I considered reducing the speakers list from 10 down to 1. And you may guess who the one would be. Because this bill says you peasants only need one opinion. This may be the single most arrogant piece of legislation ever drafted by any government, state or federal, in Australian history. And I got the shock of my life in 2020, I think it was April 2020, when the Prime Minister of New Zealand, a country which produced the All Blacks, known for its rugged independence, when the Prime Minister stood in front of a camera and said, "We will continue to be your single source of truth." And the shock was kind of reverberating through my brain, because I thought, how could one individual combine that level of naivety with that level of arrogance? And indeed, we find it is the worst combination in politics: dumb and ambitious. So that's what we have in this bill. It's got to be rolled. And we just want to say thank you. We will be sharing the stage with others today. Poets' Corner is a kind of ancient, it's 150 years old. Anyone can speak. And so we're going to be sharing the stage with some others. People are opposing this bill for a lot of different reasons. And we don't necessarily agree with every reason, but as the president of the Libertarian Party of New South Wales, my party doesn't own this issue. We are members of a broad coalition of Australians opposing this daft and terrible albatross that Anthony Albanese proposed to hang around our necks. So, I was sitting in a meeting, I think we were on Zoom, waiting for someone to arrive, when the Vice President of the Liberal Party of Gemma Noiosi of New South Wales, Gemma, was sort of humming quietly to herself. And I thought, you've got quite a sweet voice. Why don't you sing the national anthem at the rally? And Gemma looked at me a bit startled and shocked, but I reminded her my preferred pronoun is master, and do as you're told. Please welcome Gemma Noiosi.
Hey everyone. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and world for toil. Our home is goodbye sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair, in joyful strains, and let us sing. Advance Australia fair. Thank you. And thank you so much to every single person that came out today. I am Gemma, the Vice President of the Libertarian Party here in New South Wales. And I've been singing the national anthem since I was a little girl at various events. And unfortunately, the new line, for we are one and free, is quite hollow for me to sing these days, because we are the most divided we have ever been in this nation, thanks to our government. And not just in this country, across all of Western democracy, big, fat governments love to divide their people. They like to divide us over our race. They like to divide us over our gender, our sexuality, which is the most ridiculous one of all. They are declaring war on our children. They are declaring war on religion. And now our Prime Minister is declaring war on our free speech. And what I want to say is that if we do not defend our free speech, if we do not protect our free speech, we are no longer free. Yes, we are very privileged to be living on this side of the planet, and we are very privileged and we are very thankful to God. However, if we do not defend our God-given right for free speech, we lose our freedom. So thank you for coming out today. We have an amazing line of speakers to present today, and thank you again. God bless you all.
When my colleague and friend, the Honourable John Ruddick MLC, member of the New South Wales Parliament for the Libertarian Party, sort of first announced this rally, he got a call almost immediately afterwards from Pastor Bob Cotton from the Maitland Christian Church. And the Maitland Christian Church remained open every Sunday throughout COVID. And Bob said, John, look, I'm really just calling you as a sort of private courtesy to let you know that the congregation and I will be coming down from Maitland in a bus to join you on the day, and we want to say strength to your elbow. This is important work. And John Ruddick said, well, the Libertarian Party is engaged in building the broadest possible coalition of support for this bill. And if we can get God on our side, we'll take that in a heartbeat. So Pastor Bob Cotton, would you please, John Ruddick said, give the opening prayer at the Mad Rally. Welcome, Pastor Bob.
Thank you, and God bless you all. Let us pray. Father, we come unto you in the precious name of Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord and Saviour, the Lamb of God who was slain for the sins of the world. And Lord, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for your goodness and your kindness towards us. And Lord, we pray this morning your blessing on this gathering and your blessing on this great nation of Australia. May the Lord bless us and keep us to the glory of his holy name. Amen. Thank you for that kind welcome. And as our friend has said, we did remain open during the COVID days. We continue to gather together, we continue to pray, we continue to take Holy Communion and to support one another, and we continue to do illegal lockdown water baptisms in the Hunter River. The government wants to be our single source of truth, but one thing the government has forgotten is that Jesus Christ said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. One of the great problems politicians have had all through history is they wouldn't know the truth when it was standing right in front of them. Pontius Pilate asked the words, what is truth, when Christ himself stood before him? It is God and God alone who determines truth. It is God who determines morality. It is not up for politicians to decide what is moral, what is good, and what is evil. God himself has determined that and recorded that for us in the book that we call the Bible. It is up to us to stand up for that which we believe in. It's up to us not to shrink back. Even when things might offend one another, the truth still has to be spoken in love. I might not agree with what you have to say, and you might not agree with me. But the fact of the matter is we must have respect for each other, and we must be prepared to enter into robust discussion without hiding behind legislation that forbids me to speak. Jesus Christ said, in the beginning, God created them male and female. And for this reason, a man shall leave his mother and his father and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. In that, God has defined what marriage is, and what family is, and what gender is. And if we shrink back in the face of opposition, our children's minds are going to continue to be polluted with nonsense that comes from brain-dead, defective human beings who have given themselves over to reprobate minds. In Romans chapter 1, the Bible tells us that when man considers it no longer worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, God will give them over to a depraved mind to do that which ought not be done. We are seeing our children's bodies mutilated, a thing which should not be done. We are seeing people confused over the most simple of matters, things which should not be done. In recent times, people have said to me, this is like something out of George Orwell's 1984. I've said it's more like something out of St. John the Divine's revelation from the Holy Bible. For the Bible speaks of a day when there will be a corrupt world government, a satanic, Luciferian, new world order that will seek to control everything and be worshipped by everyone. When we look at things like artificial intelligence, when we look at things like central bank digital currencies, when we look at things like government overreach and mandates which should never occur, we see an ungodly system being unravelled before us. We must oppose this. We must speak up for free speech. I'm free to say it the other way too. My friends, let us be a people who humbly seek the face of God. Let us be a people who turn from sin, live in repentance, and seek his blessing. I pray that each and every one of us might come to know the saving grace of our Lord Jesus Christ in these difficult times. May God bless you, and may God bless Australia. Thank you.
Well, in the spirit of free speech, another group did organise to be present here today to oppose the bill. The Libertarian Party believes, like Chairman Mao, let 100 flowers bloom. So we have in the audience a sincere communist who's known by legend as Como John. Will you please welcome Como John?
I need to talk loud? Yes. Okay, g'day folks. I want to introduce myself. My name is John Wilson. I have a nickname. It's called Como John. And no sir, I am not a communist. I used to be one, but I am not a communist. I have renounced it all. I have renounced it all. I've sought forgiveness from God, and I'm now a Christian. I'm a fucking bad one. I'm a bad one, but I'm a Christian. Has that pissed these Christians off? Oh, they're saying, dear God, how could you have let this bastard into our ranks? Oh, listen, I am a Christian. I've sought forgiveness. I've accepted Jesus into my heart. Man, oh man, the only thing I can't choke down so far is this whole concept of forgiveness. I can't choke that down yet. There's so many of these arseholes that are sitting in Parliament where no way I'm going to ever be able to forgive them. No way. No way, folks. Listen, the crimes that they're committing are unforgivable. They're unforgivable. But I'm doing my best, folks. I have two wolves inside of me. I got a communist wolf. He's still there. He's on the chain. And is he hungry? I won't feed him. I won't feed the communist wolf. But on the other side, I've got a Christian wolf. I've got a Christian wolf, and all he wants to do is get out and befriend people and to be a good old dog. And that's the one I feed every day. It's hard. It's hard when you're you have these internal battles within yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I've earlier this year you might have known that I cranked up a national strike, okay? And it's had hundreds of thousands of people come in and look it over, check it out and participate, okay? It's been a great success. We've just been alerted to the fact that Gibby Council has now dumped fluoride in the water after all of the public pressure and all of the actions from locals and strikers all put together. We're making ground. Now, arising or what has grown out of the national strike is the launch of a brand new national trade union here in Australia, and that's called the Freedom Union of Australia, okay? Dare to struggle, who dares wins, okay? The Freedom Union of Australia, $200 a year. Please join this union. Join the union. Every other sticking union in this country is rotten and corrupt. Rotten and corrupt. They have sold their members out and they've sold this country out. You might see them where the John Setkas of the CFMEU and all of the rest of the CFMEU, organised crime figures involved, all sorts of rotten, corrupt stuff going on. Now, the Freedom Union of Australia has been launched as a brand new union with you at heart, okay? It's being built from the ground up. Please check us out. The Freedom Union is going to be the fastest growing, most effective trade union this country has ever seen. Okay, so please check it out. Now, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. Unlike the Libertarians up here, these ex-pollies, okay, all of the political class, say what you like, but the first speaker has just come from the floor. This guy's name's Rocco, and I want to introduce you to Rocco. He's just an ordinary guy from here in Western Sydney who's been battling the courts and the cops and the parliaments and the councils for years now. I want you to give him a hand because he's one of the true activists and the true frontline leaders here. Rocco, 3 minutes, brother.
If anybody needs help with challenging their council rates, I also come and see me afterwards. I also specialise in travelling using Section 92 of our Constitution. No licence or no registration needed for your automobile. Now I've got, look, I spent quite a bit of time writing out some information about today's speech and in challenging Albo's bill. Okay, it all starts with the 1914 Crimes Act, Section 270.1. Pushing slavery incurs a lengthy jail term. That's under our own constitution. And yet, since the start of COVID, whilst they were enforcing lockdowns, masks and vaccinations, not one politician has ever been punished under this section of law. For we the people have been getting poorer while these bloody globalists have been getting filthy rich from us. Albo's misinformation bill is just another instrument in which this great government, who's addicted in committing genocide upon the Australian people, with this being in the form of destroying freedom of speech. The proposed bill has Buckley's chance of ever becoming law because the fools behind it forgot to factor in that the laws were passed in the United States earlier this year. They're called the Chevron deference laws. I don't know whether you guys have heard it. They were passed through the Supreme Court in the US, but our courts operate, we come under the US courts. Our judges and our magistrates get paid by the Federal Reserve. All our courts are registered in the Washington Stock Exchange. Okay? Yeah. Hey, brother. Love your work on it. Okay. So, it's only a matter of time. This is my point. It's only a matter of time before these laws land on our shores, and we're going to be reverting back to the 1901 Constitution, which carries the death penalty to all these fucking Satanists. That's what's going to happen, okay? You know, all these politicians who think that they've seen my wet ink signature, that they have authority over me. They're fucking dreaming, okay? All right. Jesus bought us for a price on the cross. Hear me now, all you Satanists. Jesus bought us for a price on the cross. We are not our own. We cannot be slaves to these Satanists who are pushing the 20th to 30 agenda. Now they're in obviously massive desperation. Finally, a biblical perspective on slavery. In Exodus 21:2, it says, if a slave is bought, after 6 years, it must be set free. Though we haven't been slaves for 6,000 years, okay, we have in fact been enslaved nearly half that time, and we no longer...
What's the language? There's children, right?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks very much, boys. We really appreciate it. Just want to say on behalf of the Libertarian Party, if your guys wish to come and share this stage, you are very welcome to. We can all be speaking then from one platform with a degree of order, one at a time. We'll try and stick to the 3 minutes. But thanks so much to Commo John. My apologies for assuming Commo John was a communist. Forgive me. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome the instigator, the prime mover, the coalition builder, my mate, the Libertarian Honourable John Ruddick, member of the Legislative Council.
My name is John Ruddick, and I am a spreader of misinformation and disinformation. Well, at least that's what Anthony Albanese thinks, okay? But I mean, this is a classic case of the pot calling the kettle black. All the government does, particularly the Albanese government, is mislead us. They are the misinformation and disinformation machine. But I would like to say, you know, it is actually important that misinformation and disinformation should be able to compete in the marketplace of ideas, and they'll lose. And this is what Albanese is scared of. He is scared of losing his ideas. All the things that he predicts never come true. We were told we're going to be living, you know, the oceans were going to be rising by now, you know, COVID and the vaccine, all those lies. He was going to cure inflation. Now, I'll tell you what's really behind this thing. They want to shut down Elon Musk in Australia. That's the bottom line, okay? They hate Twitter now. They used to love Twitter. They hate Twitter now because it's just a free-for-all. It's a free platform where you can say whatever you want, okay? And this is what they shut it down in Brazil. Now, you know what with under this legislation in the fine print, if one of you good people puts something out there on social media, which will probably be Twitter, and Albanese says, oh, well, that's misinformation, and then if Elon Musk doesn't take it down, they've got to pay about a $600 million fine. Not 600,000, 600 million, 5% of Twitter's revenue per year. Now, I don't know how they're going to enforce it. I suspect Elon Musk will tell them to get lost, but they'll try. Now, we want to have quick speeches today, so I just want to quickly walk you through the politics of this, where we're up to from here. I believe before Christmas this bill will get through the House of Representatives because the stupid Teals will vote in favour of it, of course, and the Labor Party will vote in favour of it. But then it's going to go to the Senate. We need 38 senators to vote no to this, federal senators. At the moment, we've got 33. The Liberal Party was late to the party, but they have come and said they'll oppose it. Good, thank you. And the Nationals. Then, of course, our good friends in One Nation, Malcolm Roberts and Pauline, and Senator Babette, all terrific people. That gets us to 33, but we've got to get to 38. There's about 7 other senators who pretty much all lean to the left, but they would be all, and it's not impossible the Greens could do the right thing here, but very unlikely. But so look, it's looking like it's, you know, we need to sort of try and get these people like Jackie Lambie and Senator Pocock and Senator Payman and you know, Lydia Thorpe. Okay, so they might be able to do the right thing, but look, it's a coin flip. Okay. We could be, by Christmas, living under this regime. And that means Australia will not be Australia anymore. It'll be called Albo-ralia, okay? Because we're going to have this big government telling you what you can and cannot say. In the event it gets to that point, I want to say the underground resistance will start on day one, okay? And I'm very lucky. I can say what the hell I want in the state parliament, and I will make the most of that. But we should be having a rally here every Saturday and saying all the misinformation, disinformation we feel like it, okay? Because we absolutely have to. If we just let this pass and we do not resist it, It'll just become a part of the culture of this country. And we will be on the slow journey to East Germany, the slow journey to East Germany. So now the one last little thing I'll say, 10 years ago, when Julia Gillard was Prime Minister, and they brought in 18C, which was the beginning of the war on free speech, and opposition leader Tony Abbott said, oh look, you vote for me and we're going to repeal 18C, 100%. Now they didn't just say it once, they said it about 100 times, and we thought, great, now then the Liberal Party won office, and Abbott is probably the best Liberal this century. They won office, and then they said, oh, we've changed our mind, we're not going to repeal 18C. So even though Peter Dutton has said, oh yeah, we're against this misinformation bill, vote for us and we'll get rid of it, I'm telling you, do not trust the Liberal Party. We welcome their support for us, do not trust them. Now I can absolutely promise you that bread and butter, the DNA of the Libertarian Party is 100% to be pro-free speech, radically pro-free speech. Now we hope that we're going to be announcing a very good Senate candidate in New South Wales soon, and we've got our Senate candidate from Victoria here, Jordan Dittloff. We hope you can vote Libertarian, but the Libertarian Party may not be your cup of tea. If that's the case, go and vote for One Nation. Or there might be others, but whatever you do, put the Liberals ahead of Labor, because they're right, okay, at least the Liberals say they're going to oppose it, and I reckon they probably will, but you can't trust them, okay? So just remember that. The Liberals sound good in opposition, in government, they sell us out all the time. Thank you very much. Stop the disinformation bill.
Our colleagues at the Freedom Union have asked to speak again, so here's John Wilson.
This is John Wilson, okay? He's got the same name as me, and John is a very, very knowledgeable man on constitutional law. He only asked for a few minutes. Bear with him and give him a good round. Here's John.
Thank you, John. I have very few words to say, and it is called trial by jury. We have the power. Everyone here has the power to defeat any bad laws, because juries nullify bad laws. This is called common law. So anything you feel is wrong, you go to a place where wrongs are made right, and that's called a court. But unfortunately, all we have in this country now are kangaroo courts. Our courts are our government. The Parliament is not the government. The best Parliament can do is make statute laws, laws for the state, by the state. We are the common people. We make common law, and common law is democracy, and we outrank any lesser form of legislation, because common law overrules statute law. But they don't tell you that in the universities. They'll say the other way around. They say, oh, we're all in common law. The only ones who can hold the common law are the common people, us. So I advise everyone, if you feel there's something wrong, you can put an end to it. All you do is go to our courts, and where you have the right to trial by jury. Every single time you go to court, whether it's the family court, the district court, the land environment court, any court, you must have trial by jury. And the only way a judge or a magistrate has any jurisdiction is if you sign a memorandum of consent. Without that consent, all the proceedings are worthless. They are null and void. So with this particular act, anyone here can fire a statement or claim of the civil wrong. It is wrong. So you put that wrong before our equals, and they will decide what to do with it. And that's called the judgment of our equals, which is the law of the land. Do it.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Listen, I've got one more quick speaker. What's your name, champ? Brendan McIntyre for 1 or 2 minutes. Brendan, come up here.
My name is Brendan McIntyre. I don't really align with any political party. I'm a Christian. I'm just here to speak truth. I just want to quickly announce the problem and the solution to what's happening. The problem is globalism versus nationalism. Okay, it is a war that's been going on ever since post-World War II, when nationalism has been conflated with fascism, with Nazism, and if you stand up for your country or your people, you are called a Nazi and you want to bring along another Holocaust, essentially. You are conflated with warmongers and criminals. Now, there are many weapons of globalism that are being used. Of course, is the financial system enslaving us all with debt, debt-based economies, mortgages, car repayments, everything. It's all debt. It's all fiat currency that they print from nothing to enslave you. Of course, now we're getting to misinformation and censorship, which is coming online, so we can't even talk about the situations we're getting in. And the last issue I want to mention, which may trigger or offend some of you, but needs to be spoken about, is the weapon of mass immigration that is being used across the globe. Now, if I speak about this, I'll get called a racist, but it has nothing to do with race, it has nothing to do with your genetics or your makeup. The fact is, it's economics and culture, okay? It's race too. It's race too. Well, let me speak, okay? It's economics and culture primarily though, because we cannot fit in this many people, okay? We had a 2.7% increase in population last year. 83% of that was made up by mass immigration. 80% of immigrants go to Sydney or Melbourne. We do not have the infrastructure or the housing. People are starving, they are going homeless, and if you point this out, you will get called a racist and completely, okay? So you need to, that is the new weapon of the globalists, okay? It's happening, you can see it in the UK, in Germany, in Canada, Ireland, okay? And they are using the two biggest demographics in the world, of course, being China and India, because collectively they have around 3.5 billion people to import. Okay, again, not about race, but you need to acknowledge this issue. Now, the solution, we can talk about problems all day, but the solution is vanguards and community, okay? After this, you can't just go home and go back into your phone, into your void, and just think that things are going to solve themselves. You need to unite, you need to form parallel economies, parallel communities where you support each other, okay? The primary foundations of that are property and economics, okay? So you have somewhere to live and you have somewhere to grow and develop, because they want you to fall through the cracks, become homeless, become destitute, where you can't fight anymore, and then you'll be replaced by immigrants who don't even understand our culture. Lastly, so form vanguards. The problem with vanguards, however, is creed, okay? We don't know what to unite under, we're so divided. This is a Christian country. Our founding folks were Christian Anglo people with a long heritage and a long foundation. The Eureka Stockade, that Southern Cross, is a Christian message, is a Christian nation. We are all equal under Christ, so it has nothing to do with race. But you must find your creed, find your ethnic identity to unite under, because they want you to be individualized, globalist pawns without any identity. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to you.
John says to join the Freedom Union, I would encourage you to do so. If you wish to join the Libertarian Party, there's a form over here, or contribute to the fight against this mad bill. Please feel free to come and leave your name. And I was going, as I said, to try and reduce the list of speakers from 10 to 1. But that idea was defeated yesterday when I caught up with a mate of mine who's been a sort of long-term member of the Libertarian Party, a migrant to Australia. And I said to him, well, are you going to the rally? And he said, yes. And I said, why do you oppose the misinformation bill? And I was very, very disappointed by his answer, because I realised that his speech was much better than mine. So naturally, I said to him, well, Navid, you must come and just say what you've said to me to the friends gathered tomorrow. And he said, well, Ross, I've never given a speech in my life. I'm not going to begin, talking to 1,000 people in my second language. And I said to Navid, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius says you must love your destiny, and this is your destiny. So please welcome, for the first speech in his life, Libertarian Navid Jamshidi.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow citizens. Yesterday, when my name was added to the list of speakers, I was asked, what is my title? I said, I don't have a title. but I am a citizen. In fact, I have been honored to become a citizen. That's why I appreciate this more than people who were born here as a citizen, as they might take it for granted. I am also a citizen of Iran, the country that I love, a great country. I love the people, I love my family, my friends, the nature, the resources. But I do not like the government. I'm not proud of it, especially their censorship policies. 2 years ago, in September 22, exactly same days, a movement started over there called Women, Life, Freedom. Hundreds of people lost their life. Many people imprisoned. They were fighting for what we have here, and we call it freedom of speech. It's their dream. They are not after our resources, religion. They already have that. But we have inspired them by the freedom of speech, what you have created. You are a role model to them for free speech. And I do not like to lose that. I do not like we lose the freedom of speech. I do not like them to be disappointed at us. I have lived there a great part of my life. I have gone through the censorship. I have seen it, how it works. It starts with small policies. It will not work. They will add another one. It's horrible what it can do to the society, to the creators, to people. I do see similarities with what happens there, what's happening with the disinformation and misinformation bill that our government is offering. I would like to say a few words to our Prime Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, I did not vote for you. I am a conservative. But I respect you because you are my Prime Minister. In fact, many of my friends support Labour. They voted for you. I respect them and I respect you. I understand that in life we take risks, we do mistakes. I understand that the governments will do mistakes. We have seen lockdowns, inflation, unemployment, vaccines, but we are fighting through them. But there is a boundary, there is a limit for taking risk. For society, freedom of speech is that limit. That's the red line. We cannot gamble on freedom of speech. One of your ministers said, doing nothing about a spread of harmful misinformation is not an option. Yes, it is an option. If you do not know what to do, it is an option. If a surgeon doesn't know how to treat a patient, they can't just cut somewhere with the hope to fix it. They just wait, get more expertise to find the right approach. The approach you're taking is the approach of a third world country government, not a developed country. Mr. Prime Minister, if you truly wish to reduce misinformation, start with your own government, with your own party, with your own agencies. Make them accountable. Make them accountable for what they say, for the misinformation they provide to people. Don't punish us. If this bill has even the slightest chance of putting our freedom of speech in jeopardy, the government does not the right to take that risk. Thank you.
Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. In the spirit of sharing, Freedom Union, give us your next best shot.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lady. What's your name, darling?
Aysha.
Okay, we've got a lady from the crowd who wants to come up and have a few words. I don't know this lady, but we're giving her an open mic. Just a little couple of words on the last speaker over there, mate. There's no way in the world we're at war with Iran, mate. No bloody way. Iran is up against the Zionists, mate. There's a lot of bloody going on over here, mate, and there's a lot of stuff, mate, that come out of this guy's mouth that I have no agreement with whatsoever. So I'll make my point, and I'll put this over here to this lady now. You're on.
Thank you so much, John. 3 minutes it is. In the spirit of free speech against the Misinformation and Disinformation Bill, I think some of you do know me from Channel 7 Spotlights after COVID program, where we did win the war against misinformation and disinformation of the government and the mainstream media. So some of us have been doing the work, myself and my fellow friends who have been on that program and who's done the hard work behind the scenes. I want to say this. I'm a huge fan of Tucker Carlson, and he says the quality, yes, that's right. Who went and saw him talk? I did. The quality, that's right. Here's the thing. We have to put aside our petty differences, and we need to join forces with other causes. Otherwise, we will not be able to do this on our own. There is a wide demography that represents Australia, and that's what we have to do. We have to do the inconvenient, we have to do the hard work, and we do have to go out of our way to reach all of these different communities. This is a country of immigrants. It is immigrants that have built this country. Don't blame the immigrants, blame the government. Blame the government for their policies of division. Blame the government for creating chaos. We cannot truly be free until the United States of America gets the hell out of Pine Gap, as Tucker Carlson pointed out. So let us do the hard work, and that also means if we are truly want to be united, we cannot have two stages. We have to have one stage where everybody talks. Thank you very much, and let's free this country together. Let's free this country. The time is now. The time is now to unite. Let's go.
Thank you very much. Over to the yellow team. You're on.
Next speaker has drawn the ire and an attack from the E-Safety Commissioner, demanding that her opinions be obliterated, deleted, and taken down. Can you please welcome Celine against the machine, Celine Baumgarten.
Thank you all for coming here today, and thank you to John and the Libertarians for inviting me to speak. For those who don't know me, I'm mostly just your average girl from Western Sydney. I'm an online content creator and I make videos that draw attention to certain topics that others may find a bit difficult to speak about. I am extremely passionate about protecting children from radical gender ideology and protecting women's sex-based rights. As mentioned as well, I'm also the girl who had one of her posts geo-blocked on X earlier this year by our e-safety commissar, Julie Inman-Grant. I won't go into the ins and outs of what that video was. However, I will say it was incredibly mild compared to some of the other videos I've shared. Nevertheless, it was deemed to be dangerous and harmful and was promptly censored at the behest of our e-safety overlords. So it's safe to say I have a little bit of experience what it's like to be censored, and it's not that great. What this government is trying to do is usher in unprecedented levels of censorship on everyday Australians like you and me, giving politicians, bureaucrats and mainstream media the power to decide what is true, what is false, what is right, what is wrong, all done under the guise of protection. Call me crazy, but I don't believe Australians need to be protected by a government who spew more and more misinformation themselves as the days go on. I mean, how many times have we seen Albo and co get fact-checked through community notes on X? Or the ever-trustworthy ABC that just got done for altering their media. It's ridiculous. Time and time again, these people are the main spreaders of misinformation, yet under this bill, they are exempt. These are not the people who should be in charge of what we can and can't say, what we can and can't think. And that's the thing about this bill. Wherever you stand on the political spectrum, this bill affects us all. We may not agree on everything, and that's completely fine. But if we lose our ability to speak freely on matters that we disagree on, we lose our democracy and we lose our future. Now, as you can tell, or you might not, because I'm a little bit more covered today, I have an extraordinarily good reason to be invested in this country's future. I am pregnant with my first child, and I want her to know that she is a mother who fought for her rights, who fought for her ability to speak, and who fought for her country. I don't want to raise my daughter in a country with a ministry of truth. I don't want to raise my daughter in a country where she could be silenced for her opinion. I don't want to raise my daughter in a country where she cannot have open discussions on the issues that matter to her. I don't want to raise my daughter in a country where she is unable to decide for herself what is mis and disinformation. I don't want to raise my daughter in a country that's divided into us and them, which is exactly what this bill aims to do. Us ordinary Australians, the working class, people like us, we don't have the same abilities as those in power. We don't have an invisibility cloak to put on to shield us from this bill. Quite the opposite, we're the direct targets of it. This bill must be obliterated. So write to your MPs, tell your friends, do whatever you have to do. We're heading down a very dark path in this country, but I have faith that we can turn it around before it gets worse. I also beg the younger generations, wake up to this, pay attention, and realise what's happening. I know firsthand that it's much easier to turn a blind eye to this kind of thing, but we need to take a stand against this for the sake of our country and our future. So thank you again to John and the Libertarians. Thank you to everyone for being here today. Let's ban this bill.
So I obviously resist any more censorship. We've got to wind back the censorship. And I've also got, my wife and I have 3 young adult children, and they should be looking forward to a future of opportunity and productivity, and not looking over their shoulder at what the government and corpocracy, what the tyrants are going to do to them next. So we need to fight for them, and we need to build the future so that they can unleash their mind and their spirit and the human capital to build a better future for us all. And I agree, Mr. Marcy, I don't see the left and the right or the colour. What I see are the arseholes and the rest of us. So that's what we must remember. We must ally together to build the future and nurture each other and nurture our children. And we've got to take control of the agenda. We've got to not dance to their tune. We set the agenda. We are not victims. We are the victors. Yeah. Let's get into it. Thank you.
He's providing ballast in the machine. He's one of the good guys. Thanks for being here today. Another weight-bearing strut in the citizens' resistance, all the way from Melbourne. The multi-award-winning filmmaker, broadcaster, communicator, defender of the citizens. Please welcome Topher Field.
Very much. My name is Topher Field, and if you believe the government, I'm a very dangerous man, because I was one of the people willing to put my name and my face onto the protest movement against the madness of lockdowns in Melbourne, as we became the most locked down city in the world. I've seen firsthand how laws get misused and abused. They are passed on the promise that they'll be responsible and careful and only use them for our good, but that's never how it works out in the long run. I spent 2.5 years of my life and a small fortune of my own family's money defending myself from 2 criminal incitement charges. Incitement was a law passed so that we could hold terrorists and people who encouraged others to do things like commit murder and engaged in organised crime. Incitement was the charge that we could use to hold them accountable. Guess who they actually used it against? People who went to protests against lockdowns and encouraged others to do the same. We cannot trust the government when it says that it will use a law responsibly. And I put it to you that a law like this misinformation, disinformation bill cannot be used responsibly at all. It is rubbish from start to finish. But what we're up against today is not just a bill to do with our freedom of speech. What we're up against is a government that is trying to take the place of God. We are faced with a time in history where government, having killed God in the previous generation, is now trying to set itself up as God, and it is up to us to say, no, you're not God, you're a servant, and we serve only the one true God. Here's the uncomfortable reality that we face. Throughout all of history, we've tried all kinds of different ways of limiting government power. We've tried separation of power, we've tried constitutions and bills of rights, we've tried all kinds of different mechanisms that were designed to keep government power in check, because we know instinctively that an overbearing government is one of the most dangerous things you can have. The thing is, throughout history, there's only one thing that's ever worked to keep government power in check, and that is the people reaching the limit of our obedience to that government. Everything else fails in the long run unless it is backed up by a population that is willing to say, no, enough, we're drawing the line right here. And so, it is up to us to learn what unfortunately people like myself and others had to learn the hard way during lockdowns in Melbourne, and that's what it says on my shirt. What does it say? Good people break bad laws. Your morality cannot be outsourced to a government. You should not be listening to people in Canberra telling you what is right or what is wrong. Your conscience is what you must obey, and sometimes your conscience is going to require you to say, no, government, I can't do that. Or, I'm sorry, government, I'm going to keep doing that no matter what you say. There's one last thing I want to say. I had the absolute privilege of telling the story that you'll find in the documentary Battleground Melbourne. You can watch it for free online, battlegroundmelbourne.com. This is not my story. I got to tell the story, but this is the story of incredible, courageous people all through Victoria who pushed back as our home city of Melbourne became the most locked down city in the world. And I made a promise to the people that helped me to make this documentary. I said, for as long as I can, this documentary will be available online for free. But you know what scares me? If this misinformation, disinformation bill passes, this factual 140-minute multi-award winning, internationally acclaimed documentary will be called Misinformation. And it may very well start to disappear or be hard to find on the internet. So what I'm doing is I've got it in DVD. If you want to watch it for free. Don't spend any money, go and watch it for free online. If you want to help me make sure that this documentary never disappears, would you come and see me on the other side of that tree? Because whilst they can try and control what we say online, they can't control what you do with your friends in the privacy of your own home. And there are some stories that need to be told. People have asked me if I'll ever make another documentary, and I said I hope I never have to, because this one nearly killed me. But if this misinformation, disinformation bill passes, then we're going to be writing a story of our own, aren't we? And it's going to be a story of people with courage doing what is right despite the fact that their government is wrong. Thank you.
Thanks very much. was one of my favourite members of the federal parliament. He's a former member for Dawson. He was easily the smartest guy in the parliament. My apologies.
Divide, and divide. Divide and conquer. By the way, Dave gives his blessings. Dave Goering, stop the lot, sack the lot. Gives his blessings. Can't be here today because his mum's not well, so he's got to attend the family, and that's really, really important before anything else. So he gives his regards. But Mondays and Maggie's legislation. That's over that side of the fence. It's not law. It's just legislation. Unconstitutional legislation. You want to bring this place down 1932, and in 1975 our governors brought our government down to its knees, and it can be done today, right now, but not here. Mondays at Maggie's in the Governor's House in New South Wales. Put pressure on these governments, all of them. They have lied through their teeth, and they're trying to rebuild a fractured, broken system. It's broken. Left, right, independent, blue, all the colours, all the same. Put them in a melting pot, and what do you have? Shit brown. All of it. Ooh, back up. But the elephant in the room, hands up. Who hasn't stopped hearing that the ambulances running in your streets and your neighbourhoods at the moment. Vaxi taxis, that's right. Constantly. The elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. We've got a society that is maimed. They're unwell. And they can't see past the clouds. Because they're unwell. But like I said, we can bring it down to its knees. Absolutely knees. Not here. How many rallies have we done? How many speeches have we heard? It is us, not them. Every single one of us. Sovereignty resides in every single one of us. We, the people. And I'll tell you another thing. If God's not in it, we can't win it. And I'm not talking religion. I'm talking to the Almighty God Himself. But you need to stand at the Governor's Gate with me. I can't do it on my own. 11 o'clock, Mondays. Every Monday. And I'll tell you what, I see a lot of familiar faces here. And we love you. And all my cream puffs, where are you? Put your hands up, I know you are. We love you too. Right, because you fought hard and you're still fighting. Anyway, Maggie's Monday, Governors, let's bring it down.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us have a handful of people in our lives where when we face a kind of a difficult decision, a hard question, there's someone whose judgment we trust, to whom we pick up the phone and say, can we have a cup of coffee? George Christensen is one of those blokes for me. He's an outstanding Australian, a great bloke. He's flown down from Queensland to be with us. Please welcome George Christensen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, John Ruddick, for organising this. To the Freedom Union, to everyone that's here, God bless you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for standing up for free speech. Because, I'm afraid to tell you, they want to silence you. They want to control what you say. They want to control what you believe. They want to control what you think. This Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill is not about protecting you. I think you all know that. It's about controlling you. The government wants to decide what the truth is. And once they control the truth, ladies and gentlemen, they control you. Now, I stand here today in my capacity as the National Director of CitizenGO, an organisation that defends life, liberty and freedom.
And that's why we're fighting against this dangerous bill. It is a dangerous bill because if we lose free speech, we lose the foundation of liberty in Australia. This is about your rights, your voice, and it's your freedom that's on the line. Make no mistake, this bill is about silencing you. It hands the government power to censor your speech, to decide what you can and cannot say. What happens, ladies and gentlemen, when the truth becomes illegal? What happens when they use this bill to block you from speaking the truth because it challenges the narrative? That's the road we are headed down. They've already shown us so far what they're capable of. They've shown us how they'll operate with the e-safety commissioner. But they've also shown us how they operate with this bill being announced in the dead of night and then quickly introduced into the House of Representatives the next day. No discussion about it, just made its reappearance and went back in there. It sat on a shelf for a year, we thought it was dead. But then out of nowhere, they bring it back. No warning, no public discussion. They didn't want you to know about it. And by the next morning, as I said, they'd already moved it through the system. And they tried to actually get the Senate inquiry reduced to the bare minimum of time frames. But it is now still open. And I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, I hope every single one of you here has put a submission into that Senate inquiry because they need to know that we are going to stand up for free speech. They didn't want us to organise. They didn't want us to push back. They're afraid that people like you and I will speak up and will demand accountability. They're scared of us because they know that we are right. They know that the people of Australia do not want their free speech tampered with. So I'm going to cut this very short, ladies and gentlemen, and ask you, each and every one of you, to please go and put a submission into the Senate inquiry. If you don't have time, I've set up a website, savefreespeech.com.au. Very easy to remember. You can go on there and just click a button to actually send a submission into the Senate. It is vitally important that they are flooded with the voices of the Australians that they want to censor. That's you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's save free speech for this country. Thank you.
Misinformation, real information, and no information. I've taken on Westpac Bank. I hit them with facts. I hit them with fact information, and they got nowhere to hide anymore. You've got to take them on yourself. Don't rely on anybody else. You've got to challenge the system with fact information. Let's talk about New South Wales trustee and guardianship. They're enslaving our elders. They are doing things illegal. I hit them with fact information so much that I almost flooded their emails. But they will not reply to any of my emails because they know that they are doing wrong. They are criminals. How dare they? They rang me up before I even lodged my documentation to protect our elders. We are not going to look at your documents. They are null and void. How dare they? What a joke. You know, this is Nazi Hitler people trying to control us. They are running shit scared because our real fact information are beating them. So everyone's got to do it. Get your facts, real fact information, and flood their emails with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Glenda. Yellow team, you're on.
I just want to thank the speakers on our side who've agreed to not speak, because we wound up with, in effect, more speakers than we needed. We're mindful of the audience in particular, your concentration span. A lot of you have been standing for a while. We've still got a couple more to go. I know John Ruddick is very keen to see the Sharks beat Penrith this afternoon, so we have to get home, you know, in time for that event. But I would like now to introduce you. Many of you will be for the first time because he's up from Victoria. He is the Libertarian Party's Senate candidate for Victoria. So if you're voting for a Libertarian for the first time, this is the kind of bloke or Sheila you're going to get. Please welcome Jordan Dittloff.
Thank you, Ross. Friends, I'm coming to you from the front line of free speech in the dark socialist nightmare hellhole that is Victoria. Unsurprisingly, the weather here in New South Wales is far better. The coffee in Victoria is arguably better, but the government is most certainly worse. When I say the government, I'm not just talking about our terrible Labor state government, I'm also talking about the absolutely dire state of the weak, failed opposition that is the Liberal pseudo opposition in Victoria. And if any of you have been watching the more redeeming proceedings over the last week in the federal court, they have been an absolute indictment and a shame on what the modern Liberal Party has become. And I'll come back to that later. Now, I have the misfortune of being a law graduate, so I'm new enough at that, late enough in life that I think my job shouldn't really have to exist, and I sort of still feel a bit embarrassed about the legal profession being required and making as much money as they do in many circumstances. But I have had the great troubling misfortune of having read this bill in detail. I read the bill last time, as George said. This bill originally was proposed last year in 2023, and when they shelved it, I said to a number of my Libertarian Party compatriots, I said, I hope this doesn't come back, but if they are foolish enough to bring it back before the Parliament before the next federal election, we will fight it to the bitter end. Now, as a Libertarian, I'm an optimist. You can't really be a Libertarian unless you believe that people are basically good and that the future is basically bright. Sometimes that can border on unrealistic, but in situations like this, you want the Libertarians on your side. Libertarians will fight tooth and nail. We are free speech absolutists. We did not have to pause for 1 second when this bill returned before the Parliament to denounce it and to call for everyone to oppose it. Unlike Peter Dutton, who we have still not heard say the words, my coalition government will oppose or repeal this bill. Now, like John Ruddick, my political heritage and history is from the Liberal Party. And like John Ruddick, time and again, I have seen them fail to live up to their promises. When it comes to freedom of speech, what we actually saw David Coleman, the Shadow Minister for Communications, say yesterday, which is interesting timing ahead of these rallies, the Liberal Party party room doesn't actually meet until later in October, but they made sure that they had something out in the public before these free speech rallies because they knew if they didn't, we would put them all to shame and make them look like they had been responding as they are to the pressure each and every one of us has been putting on them and will continue to put on them day after day. Now, if you look at what the Shadow Minister actually said on Sky News the other day, he didn't say that the Liberal Party weren't committed to the e-safety regime. He didn't say that the Liberal Party, if they oppose this bill, would not introduce a bill like this in the first term of a coalition government. I want to hear those words. You should all want to hear those words. You won't, and the reason you won't is that the Liberal Party created the e-safety commission. This is their bill. This is their regime. Peter Dutton said to Parliament a few months ago that Julie Inman-Grant, the e-safety commissioner, is one of the finest public servants in Canberra. Needless to say, I disagree. And if I were elected to the Senate in Victoria, as I hope to be, and as we have a good chance of doing in Victoria, one of the first things I would be pushing for is repealing this legislation if it does pass, and sacking Julie Inman-Grant. The e-safety commission can't be fixed, it can't be made better. It is doing what is in the nature of an organisation created by government like this with broad sweeping powers given to unelected officials to do. It is growing, it is finding new problems, it is gaining in funding and gaining in overreach. It needs to go. Now, many of you are here because you're outraged, you're angry, and you should be angry, and you should be outraged. But outrage isn't enough. We can't simply be outrage merchants, whipping up frenzy, being angry, because we can be as angry as we like, and if we're not taking action, if we're not working together, if we're not actually taking steps to make change, then we will be angry, and we will be alone, and we will be overwhelmed. Now, I looked a little bit this morning at something many of you have probably never had cause to consider. In Parliament, there are groups of basically non-partisan members of Parliament who get together on certain issues. There are these Friends of Parliament is what these groups are called. Now, there are Friends of Parliament for the AFL. There's Friends of Parliament for the defence industry. I don't know why the defence industry needs more friends, but there we are. There's even a Friends of Parliament in federal Parliament right now for the Victorian Commonwealth Games 2026. I don't know who's going to tell them, but it's a bit awkward. But I can tell you that what actually surprised me this morning was that in the over 90 years, or nearly 90 years, that the Liberal Party has existed, since 1944, no Liberal Party politician or no politician of any stripe has ever thought to have a Friends of Parliament for free speech. Now that tells you how little they care about this issue. That tells you how happily both major parties are to throw us and our freedoms under the bus. If I'm elected to Parliament, the first members, the founding members of a Friends of Parliament for free speech will be the Libertarian Party, hopefully closely followed by our friends on the crossbench in UAP and One Nation. So I believe that things are still bright. I believe that we do have a chance to actually beat this bill and stop it from getting into law in the first place. The Senate inquiry, which all of you have been told about and encouraged to make submissions to, and I'd make that encouragement again, that is due to report on the 25th of November. Now, Parliament breaks for the Christmas break on the 28th of November. So there's a very short window and they've got a lot of things to do. So there's a good chance that this bill won't be law this year, that we'll still have perhaps our last free Christmas. If it does make it through to February and it doesn't pass, if this law is still before the Parliament come the election, if I'm elected to the Senate, I will commit to absolutely continuing to oppose this bill, and the Libertarians will fight tooth and nail to repeal. One day, and the latest New South Wales council elections show this day is not as far away as some of you might think. One day, the government of the day will need us to pass legislation. And when they do, we will remember. We will remember when they threw our freedoms under the bus, and we will exact a price for our support, and we will be demanding that this legislation be repealed. Thank you very much.
That's the longest 3 minutes I've ever seen in my life.
Senators are hopeless. Senators always.
The agreement, keep our speakers. Please control your speakers, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to a chappie called Maya, who's got a few words to come up and say. But before I do, please, ladies and gentlemen, over here is a sausage sizzle. It's for free. Go over and get something to eat, please. If you've got a dog with you, if you've got your child with you, go over and grab a sausage. It's free. It's all been put on by the Aussie Cossack. It's open for everybody here. Libertarians, Cossackers, Commojoners, whoever you are, go over there and get a sausage and grab some water. Keep hydrated. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Maya. Maya's got a few words to say. Let's give him a warm welcome. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you. I won't keep you long, and thank you for your attention. Look, the one thing I want to start off with is this. I disagree completely with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Yeah? Those are the words of Voltaire, who uttered them many centuries ago. Look, if we don't have free speech, truth isn't discovered by eliminating our alternative voices. Truth is discovered through the vigorous contest of opinions and evidence, and that's how you find truth. And if you have truth, then you would not be afraid of people who don't have the truth. You're only afraid of people and want to shut them down when you don't have the truth and you're trying to cover up. So I say to you, Albo and Penny, what are you trying to cover up? And I say to most of us, we already know. Okay? So I call these two people and the people behind them supporting them, I call them traitors. They are committing an act of treason to this country and to all of us by introducing this bill and trying to get it passed. It is nothing less than treasonous. And if somebody gets into power who is able to call them to account and put them on trial, they should be put on trial. Okay? So, now what we need to build our strength on is two things. Number one is truth. And number two is unity. Now, I'm going to bring up something here which may upset a few people, but I want to make it very clear. If you are one of those people who blames Jews, Zionists, or Israel for the problems that we have today, I will say to you that you are a lazy thinker. You're not even a thinker. You've swallowed the blue pill of division, and what's happening is you are being made into a stooge to look at those people over there who are innocent when the real people who are screwing you are over here continuing what they're doing. Don't be fools. Okay? Zionism is nothing more than a belief that the Jews have a right to their self-determination in the national homeland. Any of you who are Christians and believe in the Bible, you will find many cases where God promised the land to the Jews. If you're a Christian, you have to be a Zionist. If you're a Jew, you have to be a Zionist. It has to be, because that's the land that was promised. So, but anyway, that's a different story. You're entitled to your view if you don't want to. But I'm saying what needs to be said. Don't fall for division. Don't be a patsy. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the Director of the Free Speech Union, Dara MacDonald.
Hello, my name's Dara. I'm the director, one of the directors of the Free Speech Union, and it will come as no surprise to say that we oppose this bill. I mean, it's quite obvious what they're doing here, right? Like it was so unpopular the first time. The first time they received they did a consultation on this. It took 4 days to upload all the submissions. It even people. Organisations that are known bastions of free speech, and I say that with a tongue-in-cheek, like the Australian Human Rights Commission, actually wrote in and opposed this bill, but yet they're trying to cram it through. Clearly they think that they're not going to get this through based on popular opinion. And this time the consultation period ends on Monday. So if you want to make your submission, you have to do it ASAP. Which is why the Free Speech Union has created a tool that you can use to make your submission to the Senate. It takes about 60 seconds. I will stand over here near the fig tree on this side of the stage, and if you haven't made a submission and you want to make a submission, you can come see me and I can give you the QR code so you can make a submission today. And while you're out there, you might want to join the Free Speech Union, because if this bill passes, you're going to need our help. We're currently helping people like Celine and defending her against the E-Safety Commissioner. So if you think your free speech is about to be threatened, you might want to join up. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Duma, formerly UAP candidate. She organises the Good Nights events, mobilising opinion in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. She's a top chick. Please welcome Natalie Duma.
Top chick about this bill. Let me ask you, 5 to 10 years ago, did anybody hear about misinformation, disinformation? Very rarely, no? Very rarely. Well, let me tell you a little history lesson, because this has been weaponised by governments against the people. The history lesson is this: that it was thought to be coined by Joseph Stalin in 1927. A Soviet shill. I come from the Soviet Union. My mother got me out of the Soviet Union. And yet we've got a thing called disinformacja, if you want to know what it is in Russian. Now, the KGB then used it as propaganda. What did they do? They attacked the intelligentsia and they attacked the middle class. How many millions died because they had a dissenting opinion against the government of the time? I'm not saying this is what Labor wants to do, but it started as a very innocuous bill, did it not? Now, my great-grandfather was one of those people that disappeared in the middle of the night because that's what everybody was scared of, that knock on the door in the middle of the night, knock, knock, and you're gone. Where did you go? A gulag or a concentration camp? Well, you were murdered. How many mass graves had murdered children? All because their parents did not believe in government. Now, yes, this was a very severe thing, but I don't know. Where are we heading? Now, you might think this is a very innocuous bill, but for anyone, and I mean anyone, and I know there are people here from former socialist and communist countries, this is truly a dystopian Orwellian nightmare. Look at what is happening in the United Kingdom. You say the wrong thing on social media and you get arrested and go to jail. Where did this come from? Dear Communication Minister Michelle Rowland, you are very accurate in stating that this bill will fulfil the federal government's international obligations because there is a concerted effort to push through these international obligations. So yes, you're following international obligations, but dear Minister, we're a sovereign nation. We are a democratic sovereign nation. So just by saying that, you are spreading mis and disinformation. And guess what? You'll be exempt from this bill, won't you? Shocking. Now, this is just government of the time, and time is a very curious thing, is it not? And throughout time, things like science, medicine, politics, many other topics which can be viewed as perceived facts, they change, do they not? Knowledge increases and it evolves, and labelling things as mis and disinformation stifles innovation and research which government may not agree with, and it's a very dangerous tool against the people. No one on this earth can be the single arbiter of truth, least of all Minister Rowland and Julie Inman Grant. And guess what? Governments and agendas also change, especially when they clearly go against the best interest of the people. We as Australians should be leaders, but unfortunately we are being led by totalitarian Marxists who believe they are saving us from ourselves. Now, we don't need saving. In places like the USSR, people did not need saving from each other. They needed saving from their governments. And we don't want to live in a country where we need saving from our own government. Who are you to tell us how to bring up our children? We know how to bring up our children. We know what is a lie and what is a truth. We can look it up ourselves. We don't need your help. I want to finish up by asking you, please make a submission, each and every one of you. It is the most important thing you'll ever do. And I'm going to read you a message. And there's a message that I received from a really lovely individual who, if it was posted during COVID times, it would have been labelled as misinformation, disinformation. She would have been deplatformed and lost her accounts on social media. And the reason that was done was to prevent vaccine hesitancy. This is what she said. Dear Natalie, do you know any holistic doctor or anything new that can help with this horrible vaccine injury? For the past 3 years, I've tried everything since this poison. 14 rounds of plasma apheresis, IVIG, stem cells, ozone, steroids, nerve blocks, many compounded medications and supplements. Nothing helps. I'm getting progressively worse. I have no life. I can't drive, work, cook. Can't leave the house, only occasionally for a short time. The burning pain, fatigue, mast cell activation, CFS, chronic inflammation and more are very difficult to deal with. I thought I've tried everything already and maybe you know of something new that can help me. People like that can never, ever be gaslit again. Please write in your submissions. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joel Jammal has got a major online presence. He's a guy who shifts the dial You can find him at the Arc. Please welcome Joel Jammal.
Just a minute, Joel. We've got the next speaker here. We have the next speaker.
Just like Canberra, eh? Just like Canberra. How'd that go? Rumble, X, Instagram, Facebook.
You're speaking.
Use all matter right now. You're standing up for your kids and you're standing up for your country. Good on you. So, I want to get on here today. I'm part of the team that speaks to the Governor Generals in Canberra. For 1,000 days nearly, in November the 2nd, they will be here. You've got to realise, guys, our voices do matter. Use it. Get into any governor and just say what you've got to say. Honestly, this tyranny's got to stop. This misinformation, I can tell you where the misinformation's coming from, and it's not you guys. It's coming from the buildings. They're lying to us and they want to label us the silencers to get rid of us so they get their way with tyranny. Say no, stand up and be a voice.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's hand it back over to the yellow team. They've got someone that wants to speak. Let's give them a hand. Thank you.
Very silly. Very silly. I mean, it's bad enough. We've got Dutton who's not supporting us. We can't be divided ourselves. I mean, that's very silly. Next time, talk to each other. For God's sake, talk to each other, use the same stage, have a lectern. This is how Dan Andrews won in Victoria. People will ask me, how did Dan Andrews win? It's because there were 9 freedom parties that didn't talk to each other. It just makes me sick. Anyways. All right, back to my speech. Thank you everyone for coming out here. This is the biggest protest we've had for some time now, because why do we protest? We protest because we're not supposed to. That's why we haven't had a big one for a while, because we protested when it was illegal, according to the government. So we're here for the misinformation bill. And one thing that Albo is really freaking out about is the fact that a lot of these southwestern Sydney suburbs and seats and western Melbourne seats are heavily Muslim. To the Muslims listening, ahlan wa sahlan, I have a message for you about your Quran and how the misinformation bill will actually see the Quran as a violation. Exactly. And by the way, before the Muslims freak out, I'm about to do Christianity and Judaism, so hang in there. A Muslim friend of mine who appeared on my podcast, the Arc podcast, Moe Sari, he sent me this verse. He said, Joel, I'm a little bit concerned about this bill, especially the part about where harm is defined as including harm to public confidence in the banking system or financial markets. You see, Joel, a lot of Muslim scholars make the point that we're not allowed to do interest. We're not allowed to. And here's the verse from the Quran, which I've got right here, by the way. The verse, and sorry, I don't have a lectern to put stuff down on. It's okay, Anne, thank you. So the verse comes from Surah Al-Barakah, Ayat 275. It's right here in front of me. Those who consume interest cannot stand on the day of resurrection, except as one stands who is being beaten by Satan into insanity. The point is, whether you're a Shia or a Sunni Muslim or whatever, an Alawi Muslim, you're not even allowed to have a debate about that, because Albo, in his freaking arrogance, wants to tell you guys what you're allowed to say. That violates the bill, because harm is defined as harming public confidence in the banking system or the financial markets. Christianity, how does Christianity violate it? Remember Israel Folau? This is the verse he said. And this is one that is vilifying a community. Corinthians 6, verse 9 to 10.
meanwhile says, "Do you not know that unrighteousness will not inherit the kingdom of God? Neither fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, homosexuals, sodomites, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners will inherit the kingdom of God." That is vilifying someone's sexual orientation. Gone. Muslims gone, Christians gone. What about the Jews? Exodus 32, 9 to 14. This is God talking about the Jewish people. God in the Old Testament talking about the Jewish people. "I have seen these people," the Lord said to Moses, "and they are a stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you, Moses, into a great nation." That's another violation, vilifying an ethnic group. So this bill is anti-Semitic, it's Islamophobic, and it's anti-Christian. So to all the Muslim groups in these areas that are fielding candidates against Labour seats that Albo is freaking out about, Muslim Votes Matters and the Muslim Vote, these are two groups. Why haven't you spoken up about this bill yet? It's Islamophobic. You have an obligation to defend the people that you're saying you're trying to get elected. And by the way, I'm a Christian, I'm a Middle Eastern Christian. Why aren't you speaking up on this? And why is it that Albo is trying to tell Islam what it believes? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And to everyone that's come out here, if you haven't yet made a submission, if you haven't yet signed a petition, go online. I'm doing a petition at tpaust.com.au, but the number one thing you can do is directly go to the website, make a submission yourself, get your friends, get your family to do it. And everyone, I want to thank you again for your consideration in listening to me, and I'll hand the mic over. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Here. This gentleman is called the Eureka Q. Okay, that's his handle, and we're going to give him a good go. Then after that, we're going to have the last of the yellow team speakers, as I understand it, which is going to be Craig Kelly, and then it will come back to this speaker, where I will wrap up as the last speaker for the team here. Okay, so we're getting to the end. I've tried to give a lot of people, as many as I could today, okay, an open mic, including those people who I vehemently disagree with. I still gave them a go. We had a Zionist up here previously who was speaking off about the Zionist cause, okay. I have no agreement with that person, none, okay, and I denounced Zionism. But we gave him a go. We gave him a go. Okay? So, later today, we're gonna listen to this chappie. Okay, the Eureka Q, we're gonna give him a go. Then we're gonna go across to Craig Kelly, and then we're gonna bring it back to me to wrap it up. Okay, Eureka Q, let's give him a hand.
People need to remember that whenever the government seeks to limit the free speech, it is always because they want to cover up something. Something that is so grievous that it can land many senior government officials for a long time. To some aspect, Australian ruling system is beyond repair. Everyone working there is just going through the motions at his job, not really trying, just slacking off. Whenever you ask those government people for help, they may think, mate, we can't even sort out the pedophile rings within the government. Why should I bother to help you with your issues? This is a horrific indifference due to this exposure to the ugly reality, assuming he is still clean. Except they live in the constant fears of being exposed. They used all the opportunities available to silence the dissent and punish whistleblowers. Julian Assange, who provided a platform for whistleblowing, lost so many years of freedom, not because he had broken some laws, but because the perpetrators of all kinds are in the enormous fear that their corrupt dealings could also be exposed. So they make an example of him. Even if those laws didn't exist, they will find other means to torment Assange. And not really because he exposed American military secrets either, but because there are even more hideous under wraps they wanted to keep from the public eyes. And they make sure other whistleblowers are too scared to speak up. Assange will not achieve a thing if all other whistleblowers were dealt with. It is all those fears driving the hopeless actions of this corrupt government. Not anger, not control freak, or any kind of thing like that. Their tactics won't be effective for very long, but it doesn't mean we can sit back and wait. We cannot let the brave and the decent pioneers who fight for us, the people, to fall and let the weight of the whole world fall on their shoulders. This something must be done. That's all I want to say.
Over to the yellow team for their last speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your grace and patience. We understand that free speech is a bit messy. That's the nature of the beast. But its magnificent upsides more than compensate. For those who have stood, we say thank you. Craig, I do want to say we've had a little crack at my own former party, the Liberal Party, late to arrive, but who apparently are going to oppose the bill. And we want to blow on that spark of resistance wherever we find it. So we want to say to Peter Dutton, we're glad you've landed. You know, we'd love to hear you announce that the Liberal Party, if elected, will repeal the bill and will abolish the E-Safety Commission. But we welcome the fact that you've joined the campaign. I would like to acknowledge guys like Alex Antic and Matt Canavan, both of whom have that special quality of being willing to resist against their own party if necessary, against the machine on a matter of principle. And the bloke I'm about to introduce next is the exemplar par excellence of an internal principle, a vertebrate. The Liberal Party often looks like an invertebrate, but with Craig Kelly, he was right on COVID, he was right on climate change, and he's right on The Voice, and he's right on misinformation and disinformation. He is a load-bearing pillar of citizen democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the Australians I most admire, Craig Kelly.
Thanks, Roscoe. Thank you for everyone coming today and hanging in what's been a long rally. And thanks to Commo John over there for the spirit that we've done this in the spirit of free speech. That we may disagree, but we will defend to the death our right for our opponents to be heard. There is one truly great Australian that wanted to be with us today that couldn't. Mr. Alan Jones. Many will know that Alan has recently undergone surgery and is having quite a difficult recovery. But I can assure you that his brain is as alert as ever. And he couldn't help resisting but writing a letter that I'd like to read just part of. This is from Alan Jones, 08. I am sorry I can't be with you today. As you are aware, I have had further surgery. I'm just out of hospital and in rehabilitation. But I'm not so indisposed as to ignore yet another legislative catastrophe being foisted upon us by a provenly incompetent federal government. These people must be stopped in their tracks. If we are serious about misinformation and disinformation, then just look at the COVID period. Every politician who argued in favour of lockdowns, compulsory vaccinations, keeping kids out of school, they should be in the dock. They were the agents of misinformation. Alan concluded, let me be blunt. Every bit of censorship starts with the same arrogant belief that individuals can't be trusted to make up their own minds, that we need to be mollycoddled and protected from ideas, that we should be censored by enlightened fact-checkers at government departments and big tech. This is why the giant of liberalism, John Stuart Mill, wrote that free speech is the cornerstone of all freedoms. It is the freedom that safeguards all others, because only through free speech do we have the ability to criticise bad ideas by powerful people. We must not give the left a new tool which to persecute their political opponents. Keep up the good work. I'm sorry I can't be with you. Alan Jones. I just add quickly a few words of my own. We are here today to send a message, firstly to Mr. Albanese. Mr. Albanese, history is watching you, and history has shown every tyrant that has been against free speech has been on the wrong side of history. They have always been on the wrong side. And if you proceed with this bill, that's how history will remember you. You bet we're coming after them. And our second message is to Mr. Dutton. Yes, it's good that you may have sniffed the breeze and decided to go against this bill, but that is not enough. I want to see Peter Dutton stand up on a platform and say something like, this bill is an abomination. Every sentence, every paragraph offends the fibre of my being. And I am going to fight with this. If we can't stop it in the Parliament, between now and the next election, I'm going to fight against this every single day. And we're going to make this next election a referendum on free speech. And if we are successful at the next election, the very first order of business on the very first day of the next Parliament would be to repeal this toxic bill. Now, I'd like to finish today with a special smoking ceremony. I call up Mr. John Ruddick. What I have here is a copy of the bill. We have a copy of the bill. And we're going to smoke it. We're going to set fire to it. And we're going to send a message that a bill like this has no place in Australian history ever again. And then, when the ashes are done, we're going to spread the ashes around this sacred place of Speaker's Corner. John, please do the honours. We do have an RSF officer just here, just in case. Keep John going, throw them all on. Let it burn, let those ashes come out. Oh, they put them all on.
Baby,
That's our message to Mr. Albanese. That's our message to Dutton. Let's keep up the pressure. And I want also just a thank you to everyone that has been sharing things on social media, because it is those shares, it is the voice that we made that has pushed Peter Dutton in the position he is. We want to push those crossbenchers. We want to keep going, keep the pressure on. We can win this. Thanks for coming. And over to you, Como John.
And then we'll do a dissipate and then we'll go on and enjoy our day. Okay. Let's cover a few things, if I may. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I am the national spokesman for the new Austrian called the First Union of Australia. Okay? Who dares win? Who dares win? That's the motto of our new union.
Burn the bell. Burn the bell. Thank you. And we're going to spread the ashes over the domain.
And we are using to protect the zero constitutional law, but on the national law. Okay? That's the way that we are attacking it. Okay? Union membership is still on the face of here, and I just simply say this, that in the last 200 years in this country, there has never been anything that ever held power to account in this country than a trade union. Okay? Trade unions have been the only source of power that has ever held the government, the corporations, the companies, and held their power to account. They're the only thing that has worked. That has worked for 200 years. Now that's the first thing I'll say. Now the second thing I'll say is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of the Australian trade unions are now a captive operation of overseas forces, right? They are no longer working in the best interest of Australians or this nation, Australia itself. They are a captive operation of overseas forces, okay? I refer to George Soros and the Open Society Foundation. I refer to the World Economic Forum and their infiltration.
Oh, backside.
What's going on here, mate?
Cheers, thanks.
Trying to push in. Okay. Now, they no longer represent the Australian people, their trade union members, or this country. They no longer do at all. So, the Freedom Union of Australia, okay, has been launched as a new Christensen grassroots trade union, and it's been built from the ground up, okay? We have the best legal advisors, we have the best political and trade union guidance of any union here in this country, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So, it's going to be successful. It's going to be successful. We are already attracting quite significant amounts of new members. The membership is $200 per annum. And I'm here today with several of the National Freedom Union members. We came down early this morning in the Brisbane Broncos bus. This is our first public outing, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first public outing in public to announce who we are and where we're going. Okay? This is it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me our with Albanese government and the state and territory governments and local councils and so on.
Fair is fair, people. My name's Vladimir and I'm one of the regular speakers
At the negotiating, almost came to fisticuffs with them. The deal was he could speak at the end. That was the deal. I know it's difficult, right? You have no idea to wrap up. I really do what you say. There's still plenty of people. No one's even paying attention. I know. Let me wander down and see where much votes are. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, look, it worked out reasonably well, I guess, considering, as what Craig Kelly just said, it almost came to fisticuffs. I just heard him say in the beginning, but I missed it due to following the rally along. But anyway, this guy is going to speak in a second when he gets a chance, when Tommy John finishes. he's still going. There's Big George Christensen. Bit of a legend in my books anyway. I remember it so well, watching him being absolutely rubbished and laughed at and heckled in the Parliament when he was speaking out. Back in the day when very, very few people were, and paid for it with his job and his reputation. Jammal. It's kind of so I wish I should know everyone's names a bit better. But anyway, so we'll wait a little bit longer. Listen to this bloke speak, and then we'll head home. And I'll load it all up for you. Yeah, this is a good idea. This lady has her sign, Dr. Melissa McCann speech YouTube. So when the people come across from the art gallery, they can read it. Or she's holding it up for everyone as they drive past. So it's not a bad idea. Come on, John's still going. When he's finished, we'll listen to the other bloke, what he's got to say. I think a few more people from the last rally, got up afterwards and spoke. Oh, here we go. I think he's having a wind up now. Let's go and see this fella.
Every Sunday. Speakers Corner has been Sydney's original free speech forum since 1878. So on Sundays between 2 to 5 p.m, absolutely anyone can come here and get on their soapbox and pour their heart out and their mind out and share their message. As long as it's legal under Sydney law, it's legal to speak, and anyone can come and listen. So unlike social media, there's no one that will take down your videos, there's no one that will censor you. You are completely free, and you are here speaking to real people, and real people are listening to you. And it's a great place to hone your oratory skills. So if you have nothing to do on a Sunday and it's a nice sunny day, just come along. Come here 2 to 5 p.m. on Sundays, and please spread the word that we're here. Because while people know we're here, we will remain alive, and free speech will remain alive. Thank you all so much for coming today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Masked guy. He got pressured into taking his mask off in the end, but yeah, he spoke reasonably well, I guess. All right, I'm just wandering around. I keep going back to the sausages. The sausage singers, get a freedom sausage at the end of it all. I might actually grab a water. All right, that'll do. That's it. I'll sign out now, I think, and head off. One last one, heading back now. Memes aren't criminal. Just coming back outside St Mary's. We're just coming back past Town Hall, and there's heaps of Ukrainians here. And they're pushing got the Aussie flags going now. They didn't used to before, but they do now. They've got plenty of Australian flags. This guy's got a mask with a Ukrainian patch on it. Yeah, so they're all. I'd say there'll be some speeches. I think they come each week, but I very rarely come to them. and the free snacks people. You go, I don't know what this is. It's obviously a con of some sort, but free snacks for watching a 3-minute video. And I think the last time it was like a little tiny pack of Oreos that I saw. So anyway, there's more aimed at the younger, you know, they're the kind of demographic that do it, the much younger sort of demographic. And then the Christians, always the Christians are up here. I guess because it's Saturday, maybe because it's Saturday you don't get the Muslims here. So it's only the Christians today. Guy's got his donuts to keep him going, his Krispy Kremes. A bit of signage. And a free Bible, if you want. Free Bibles, health books, prophecy books, study guide books. Oh, there's plenty. Look at all that. You can go down here. Lots of stuff. Who's flogging this? Take one? I'm okay. No, it's all right. Thanks, though. I'm not sure. I think it's a Church of Latter-day Saints. Who are they? The Mormons, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, all right. That's it.